Okay, so good afternoon. Our topic for today is all about factoring polynomials by grouping. So our objective for this lesson is to factor out, of course, factor out polynomials by grouping using our knowledge of the greatest common factor and the least common multiplier. So we have here, let's use that in our first example. So we're going to factor out a cubed minus 9a squared plus 4a minus. So we're going to factor these two groups separately. So 12a cubed minus 9a squared, of course. So the greatest common factor between 12, of course, the constants 12 and 9, of course, it's 3. Then the greatest common factor between a cubed and a squared, that's a squared, multiplied. Okay, the factor that we're going to multiply to 3 to become 12, that's 4. Okay, the factor uh, that we are going to multiply to a squared for it to become a cubed, that's 2, minus the factor that we're going to multiply to 3a squared to become 9a squared, so that's plus, in this case, our second group here, so you cannot factor it out, but although we can factor this out by 1 and the number itself, so this will become plus 1 multiplied by 4a. Okay, so in this case, we have factor out the common factors. Then, so we're going to simplify this by factoring out the common factor, so which is 4a minus 3 multiplied by 3a squared plus. So in this case, this will be the answer for this particular step. Okay, questions? Okay, let's proceed with second problem. Okay, so we're going to factor out 2p cubed plus 5p squared plus 6p plus 16. Okay, of course, we cannot factor out the constants 2 and 5. But we can factor out, p cubed and p squared. Okay, in this case, that's p. Okay, that's p squared multiplied by 2p. Okay, so it become to become 2p cubed. The factor that you're going to multiply 2p squared, that's 2p plus 5 plus. Okay, so 6p plus 15. So the factors that we're going to since we cannot factor the p because there's no variable constant, so we're gonna find the greatest common factor for 6 and 15. Of course, that's 3 multiplied by. I'm gonna change the code. 3 multiplied by p. Of course, the factor that we're going to multiply to 3 is 2p in order for it to become 6p plus. Okay. So the fact, uh, We have here okay, so we have here 2. The greatest common factor is 2k plus 5. So that's we're gonna factor 2k plus 5. Then multiplied by 2 squared. Okay. So this is our answer for this problem. Okay. Questions? Okay, so let's proceed. Proceed with another problem. Okay. So we're asked to find factor out 3n cubed minus 4n squared plus 9n minus 12. But of course, we're going to factor out this first. To the 3n minus 4n squared. So the greatest so we cannot factor out 3 and 4, but we can factor out n cubed and n squared. So the greatest common factor is n squared multiplied by uh, the factor 3n. So that's the factor to multiply to n squared for it to become 3n cubed. Minus, of course, 4n squared. The factor is 4 plus, of course, the next factor here. 9n minus 12. Okay, the greatest common factor is 3 multiplied by 3n. And then the greatest common factor is 3n minus 4. So we're gonna factor out 3n minus 4. So this will be 3n minus 4 multiplied by squared. Okay. The answer for this problem is 3n minus 4 multiplied by n squared plus 3. Okay, so do you have any questions with this problem? Okay, let's proceed. Okay, so we're asked to factor out 12n cubed minus 4n squared plus 3n plus 1. Okay, so this for this one we're going to factor out 12n cubed plus 4n squared. 12, so 12 and 4, so they have greatest common factor of 3. So that's equal to 3. Okay. So n cubed and 4n squared. So the greatest common factor between n cubed and n squared, that's n squared. So multiplied by 4n, or we can also say that this is 4n. Okay, so this is 3n squared and 4n. So we can say that this is 4n squared multiplied by 3n plus 1. Okay, that's also the same. Because the greatest common factor of 12 and 4, that's 4. Greatest common factor of n cubed and n squared, that's n squared. So multiplied by 3 and plus 1. So that's plus. Okay. So since 3 and 1, 3 and plus 1 have no common factors, so we will indicate this as 1, or we'll factor it as 1 multiplied by 3 and plus 1. Okay, so here you have greatest common factor of 3n plus 1. Okay, so this will be, if we're going to factor it out, this will be 3n plus 1 multiplied by 4n squared plus 1. This is the answer for this particular problem. Okay, questions? Okay, let's proceed. Okay, let's check our understanding for this particular problem. Okay, so we're going to factor out n cubed minus n squared plus 2n minus 2, 35xy minus 5x minus 56y plus 8. And we have here mz minus 5mh squared minus 5mz plus 25mh squared. Okay, so if you need more time, you need to pause the video. Okay, let's answer the following problem. So for number 1, so we're asked to factor out n cubed minus n squared plus 2n minus 2. Okay, so this will be, we're going to factor it out. Okay, so this will be m squared, n cubed minus n squared, that's m squared, multiplied by n minus 1 plus, of course, the greatest common factor, 2m minus 2, that's 2, multiplied by n. In this case, the GCF is n minus 1. Okay, so this will be n minus 1, so factor this out, multiplied by n squared plus. This will be the answer for this particular problem. Okay, did you get it right? Okay, so let's proceed with the second item. So we have here 35xy minus 5x minus 56y plus 8. Of course, the greatest common factor between 35xy minus 5x. Okay, between 35 and 5. Okay, that's, of course, that's 5. Which is equal to 5. Then xy minus x, that's x multiplied by the factor that you're going to multiply to 5 to become 35, that's 7. That's 7y minus 1 minus, so 56 and 8, of course, that's 8 multiplied by, okay, that's negative 7y. Okay, plus 1 or minus 1. However, we can so that's negative 8, or we can also say that this is also positive 8 multiplied by negative 7 y, then positive 1. In this case, we're gonna factor out the negative sign or the negative 1. We're going to factor out negative 1. So this will be, okay, 5x multiplied by 7y minus 8 multiplied by 7y minus 8. That's the case. Your greatest common factor here is 7y minus 1. Okay. We'll factor this as 7y minus 1 multiplied by 5x minus. Okay, so this will be the answer for this particular problem. Okay, so did you get two correct answers? Okay, how about number 3? For us to find or factor out mz minus 5nh squared, okay, minus 5mz plus 25nh squared. Of course, we're going to factor out the first two factors given. Okay, so the greatest common factor between mz and 5nh squared, that's m multiplied by z minus 5h squared. Okay, so this will be minus the greatest common factor between 5 and z and 25 and 8 squared, that's 5. 5n multiplied by z minus 5h. Okay, so the greatest common factor is z minus 5h squared. So we're gonna factor this as z minus 5h squared multiplied by n minus 5. In this case, this will be the answer for our third problem. Okay, we will get all three correct. Okay, so if you have no more questions, then I will see you on our next video.